You ever seen videos of these people who like they compare the different branches in the American in the U.S. military? How
Like
they
who's more
arm?
badass?
Yeah, who's more
Yeah.
badass? And everyone. It seems like in all the videos that I've seen, it's always the Marines.
Yeah, the
The
Marines.
Marines
Yeah.
are always looked at. Well, them and also the Navy SEALs. The SEALs.
The SEALs are the number one.
Yeah, those are like the hardcore,
Yeah,
hardcore.
yeah.
Where like you're not just gonna make it. You don't
I used to think that
qualify.
it was the Marines.
I
I
used
used
to
to think it was the Marines until I heard about the SEALs. I just thought I thought Navy SEAls were just water, like all water, but no, they're the ones who handle like the
special missions.
missions and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah, that in a lot of the videos that I see, they always make fun of like the Navy, people in the Air Force, and I have no idea. I don't know shit about the military, but I don't know why is it that it's like why is it that it's like just like me and you who don't know shit about shit, and yet we both say Marines, right? Why is it like? I guess the society is that a society thing? Like, where did we
yeah.
get?
Because
Who pushed that?
I don't know, because I don't think it's the people in the army. I mean, the military who are comparing each other. I don't think a Marine meets a Navy SEAL or the opposite way, and the Navy SEAL is like, yeah, we're more badass. I don't think that's what it done. I think there's a mutual respect for each other. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
but if you think about it, people in the Air Force are the people that give support for the people on the ground. So when they call for like an airstrike or whatever,
Yeah,
those pilots are the ones that come in
and they save
your
a lot.
ass.
Yeah, they save your ass.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It just seems like, but I remember back when I was young, when like fresh out of high school, I thought about like, oh, I had an interest in the Marines because I felt like I guess it was just the word of mouth from everyone that said that Marines are the hardcore one, and I always like testing myself, like putting myself to putting myself through shit that's really sucky.
Tough
And
shit.
yeah, like just because I never like going easy on myself. So when I heard like, oh yeah, the Marines, those are the bad boy killers, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And then
Didn't you try to sign up for them?
yeah, I went to the recruiter, and they told me I couldn't.
But he told you that based on your status. Huh?
Yeah, he's like, you can't because you're not a U.S. citizen. You need to be a U.S. citizen. He said otherwise, then you could. But you can tell because I know these recruiters
Yeah,
get paid.
the recruiters are always trying to recruit.
Yeah, he was trying to find a way. He was trying to figure out a way to do it. He's like, yeah, you need to be a U.S. citizen, and he's like, I'm gonna look into this for you, and I'll try to figure out how to. I think he was trying to just read up on what he can do possibly for me to go in, and this was
The high school, huh?
2011, and when I went in there, and he said he was gonna get back to me, and I don't remember. I think he did. I don't remember if he got back to me or not, but I never went in. And then I know that the terms are sucky, huh? They do 4 years or minimum.
Yeah.
4 years.
Well,
of your
I'm not.
life.
That's from what I hear. You know, all this shit that is all coming from like hearsay, he say, she say, whatever. Because do I really know? No. But I remember too. I had an interest in the Marines, and I think it's just like I don't know what it is. Obviously, people talk about them for us to know that enough about them. Because you always hear people joining the army, but you always hear like, nah, that's not where. The tough motherfuckers go, they go to the Marines. I always heard about the Marines, and also a lot of people who were like who are like bad kids and stuff. It seems like who don't know where to do with their life. It seems like I've heard like they go to the army or they go to the Marines, and then they looked at as a success story. Like yeah, they're something now because they're a Marine. So I looked into the Marines, but then I was like, nah, I don't want to fight for like because it took time for me to really develop my way of thinking to be like, do I really want to fight for a country that doesn't fully respect my people yet? And then I was like, so I was like, nah. All respect to everybody who's in the military, who getting in all this crazy shit, who are at war and shit like that. All respect to them, but I just feel like, and for me to go fight and die for a country that doesn't fully respect my people yet, it's not time. Not time yet.
you gotta have a military on. I think like because who if not the U.S. who would like let's say if the U.S. didn't exist,
Who's the big boy?
yeah, like let's say who would be trustworthy enough? Because the U.S. even the U.S. has little shady stuff. How they handle like the being the superpower.
Yeah.
Like they'll just because I've heard stories of people say like, oh, they just start wars just because. Like how he did in Iraq, right? With Bush, they just invaded, saying that they have nuclear weapons, and there's no nuclear weapons. There's probably an agenda there, more than likely. But if let's say if the U.S. was gone, no more U.S., like it just vanished or whatever.
Who's going to be the big boy?
It will
automatic. Who do we trust? Yeah.
Like who would we trust? That's let's say let's put it as like the U.S. was like an old man. And their time was gone.
The baton needed to be handed down.
Yeah, it needed to be handed down. What are the countries trustworthy enough to hand over the might?
Yeah, because I don't know. Because I don't know enough about other countries though. But that's why I remember I told my dad, like, if not the U.S., who? I'm kind of glad that it's the U.S. I live in the U.S. I'm like for the U.S. I'm like pro USA. You know what I'm saying? But if not the U.S., who? It kind of feel like a safety thing. Yeah, we got this, you know? And then when you look at the stats and you look at how badass our military is and the people who serve us and shit like that, and the equipment we have and the technology we have and the destruction we can do, I know a lot of people, it's a sense of pride, right? Because I think it's just like you have a security. You feel security being here because you're like, we're the most badass. It almost feels, I feel like it makes it feel like we're unfuckwittable, untouchable. But we're not, because a lot of times when we think of US, right? And I only thought about this when you brought it up, because a lot of time when I ever thought about the US, you only think of US going one-on-one with a certain country. You only think of that. Well, at least not me. I only thought. So when I was like, okay, who can fuck with the US? I'm like, nobody. One-on-one? Nobody. Until you're like, yeah, but these motherfuckers have alliances with each other. Like there's people who don't like the US, like North Korea, Russia, and China. So, and then that opened my eyes, right? And then you realize, oh shit, like if these motherfuckers join up together, okay, then that's a real threat to the US. But it seems like there's what is halting them. If you think, if they know like, okay, we have a chance, or we have, you know, a good enough like people, recruits, whatever, equipment to take them on, like what has stopped them?
They don't have I think based on where they're positioned in the globe, they don't have the means to be able to come here. I think the U.S. has the power to go to your block, no matter where you are in the world. They have the Navy, the strongest Navy in this world has ever seen, and because they can go out to China, right to their soil if they wanted to, within miles, without and shoot missiles into their cities. From the ocean.
Yeah, but it seems like, because you know how the U.S. is positioned in a lot of other countries, they have like bases and shit, because it's allowed by the country. So it seems like the country has to be like, okay, we're okay you being the daddy, huh?
Yeah, because they get perks. They get, I'm sure there's payment.
So they accept it like, okay, America is a strong ass ally to allow them to come in.
And it's also it's a security thing too, because if you attack, like let's say there was a base in let's say they're in Japan, right? Let's say, because Japan doesn't fuck with China. Japan is like really strong, has strong ties with the US. Let's say the base that the US has in Japan got attacked. That's not only an attack on Japan, right? It's also an attack on the U.S. So because the U.S. is so strong, it's kind of a deterrent. It's like having a pit bull in your apartment, and it's just watching your property.
It's more like having a bunch of gangsters in the front of your house with guns, with fucking assault rifles, and you coming over here with pistols.
Oh yeah,
they got automatics.
Yeah,
and you got pistols. So that's really the threat, because
And they
I
got
think
night vision.
that's why America is a threat, because of the power America has and how they don't give a fuck.
And it's
Like
'cause they don't-
America, I don't think America has tremendous ego. America's like, we're not losing to nobody. Fuck everybody. Like we'll take with anybody, and they can. But do you think that because America has so much power, do you think it's possible? It's almost like a ruler to have so much power and not abuse it, to do wrong shit. Like, you know how Bush, when, like you said, went into Iraq and so many people died because of that. And I seen a video of I don't know who it was, for a Marine, but I guess he pulled up to a place where Bush was at, and he told them, "You need to apologize." He's like, my friends died because you lied. He's like, "You lied. You need to apologize." And I'm like, apologize? He needs to do more than apologize. People, because now Bush, all he does, he says he paints pictures of the fallen people who died because of the war he sent. And I'm like, but if you really sent people with the knowledge that you knew that there was nothing over there, and you claimed there was mass destruction, weapons of mass destruction, and you knew that they weren't, then that's like evil shit.
But there's also people who say that the president is not really in charge.
There's a bunch of motherfuckers, huh?
Yeah, it's not just the president who says, you know what, let's go do this. It's like it's a cabinet full of I don't know how many motherfuckers that say this is the plan. They have a 10-year plan right now. Currently, I'm sure they're like, this is what. It doesn't matter who the fuck is elected. Doesn't matter. These plans are gonna go ahead no matter what. And they view it as like a necessity as far as ensuring U.S. stays on top. That's what it is.
It's just like the president is the face. The president is the one who gets the blame because he's the face.
Yeah.
So I just don't know exactly, because I don't know enough to really dive into what the fuck. There's so much shit. There got to be evil motherfuckers at the very top who making power moves.
I know, and hopefully as nobody can live forever. So as hopefully as these motherfuckers die.
That's what I'm saying though. As long as we hold the power, right? When you have so much power, do you think it's impossible? No, because is there a way to have so much power and not be corrupted? Is my question. When you know, America knows, like we could even do a little shit we're not supposed to do, and people won't fuck with us.
Yeah, because there's so many people at the top. You can't just have one person. There's so many people at the top. I feel like there's always going to be a little bit of that shady shit going on. But I feel like so long as we're doing more good than harm, we're heading
But there's
in the right
a lot
direction.
of crazy shit, because when you think of all these missiles under Obama, under all these presidents, right? And you just hear that they shoot missiles. Every president shoots missiles, and not only they'll give you the count, of how much missiles they actually shoot. I don't even know, but when you hear the stories of the people who live in these cities who were bombed and innocent, that's where it's like when you see a little boy, like you can look at an adult and be like, who knows, right? Who knows if they're affiliated? I don't know shit. But a kid, there's no way. It's a kid. And I seen documentaries. I don't remember which one it was, but I seen a dad carrying, I think it was his son or his daughter, and with like her neck broken, dangling, like, and he was running just trying to find help. And I was like, how can you not like feel for this person? I'm like, that's hella. And I always think of that because I have nieces. I don't have a daughter or a kid, but I have nieces, and I just like I pictured it like, what if that was her, and that was me, like running with, like, that's hella crazy.
And I think,
and that's why I was like, I understand why people hate America.
Yeah, because anybody would.
Like, why wouldn't you? I'd pick up an AK too. Because if I'm just chilling, I'm innocent, and it's just I happen to live in a war zone, and a fucking bomb gets here and hits and kills my brother or my little brother who's a baby, you would feel anger. That's natural. You'd feel anger, and you'd be like, yeah, fuck the U.S. And then you have a motherfucking group who says, fuck the U.S. Here's an AK, right? Join us. Let's kill these motherfuckers.
Full of people who
and
lost.
then you're
people.
like, you don't even care. You seeking vengeance. You're like, I don't even know. Like, you guys do bad shit, but I just want to kill these motherfuckers because they killed one of mine. And that's such a normal human instinct. So it's like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people, their stories, a lot of people have joined the Taliban, have joined ISIS because of that. And how can you blame them? Huh? Like, when you boil it down, how can you blame them?
This episode is brought to you by Casa, Flores, Taqueria, and more. June 10th will no longer be the opening day. If you want to stay up to date for when they will open, you can follow their social media pages below. We will update you here as soon as we know more. But for now, let's get back to the podcast. I don't know what the solution is. I have no idea.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know, because people would say like, well, what are they doing in a war zone, huh?
Yeah, but this is because you can't. When people are that poor, you
You
don't
don't
have the ability
luxury,
to just get up and leave. Like you can't. Well, like especially if you have everything that you owe that's worth something, that the shit that keeps you alive there in your property, how the fuck you can't just rent a U-Haul and fucking
and
move
bounce,
down.
huh?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Especially because it's all a luck game on where you're born or where you're just blessed or you're not. You just have to deal with it or you're not. There's places that are hella bad as far as poverty and hella nasty and hella diseases.
That's North Korea.
Yeah, hella diseases and shit because they don't sanitize, they don't clean shit like a lot of people do. So you see like, and they even get diseases from monkeys and shit because monkeys are living alongside of them. You just walking and you see a monkey and shit. Like if you seen a dog, and these monkeys carry certain diseases and shit, and it's just normal to them because they can't. And it's crazy what people have to do. I don't know where I seen that from. I think that was a documentary as well, where there was a bunch of women who were just selling themselves. And the people, they were like, well, we don't want to do it, but we need money. So that's our way to get money. But they would carry diseases themselves. And it's just crazy. Like, and that's why it's I always remind myself, man, I got it good. I'm blessed.
Just being able to because it's just like
homie said today, huh? Like he said it, well, he just did the sign of the cross. And then he said, it's up to God. And I was like, that's hella real. That's all we can do.
He said every day when I wake up.
It's a blessing.
He said it's a blessing. He said, like, thanks for another day.
Yeah. And he said, and I think you only think like that. Either you're hella observant or life has kicked you hard enough. Because you don't have to get kicked when you're smart enough to learn from other people's mistakes or learn that you're blessed by witnessing what has happened to others. And then seeing what has happened to them, like, oh, this person lost his dad when he was 4. And then you know, I got my dad. Oh, this person, his mom died too when he was 10. Oh, I still have my mom. And oh, his sister died. He got shot in front of him. Oh, I still have my sisters. And then if you really like boil it down, that's how I consider how blessed I
am. You know how nowadays social media can open your eyes as far as how other people live in all parts of the world today. Do you think depression was a lot higher in the past than it is today? Because if you think about people weren't aware of how other people live in other parts of the world. So when you have it shitty from the jump and all you know is shit, you can't compare.
And now that I think about it, when I went to Mexico and seen my cousins and they have less, but they never told me they were depressed.
They didn't look sad?
They were able to acknowledge that they had a bad card. Like, yeah, it's tough. They were like, it's tough out here, but you know, what can you do? But it was not like, oh, like put my head down and like I'm extremely sad. Nah, they were like, this is how it is, so I have to just deal with it. It never came off as like
envious.
Any symptom that I can pick up on that they were depressed. They were just able to realize the situation they're in, and they're like, I want better. That's it. But it seems like, I don't know. It's because it's hard to really like, how can I really say if they were depressed or not? But I don't know. But maybe it's because over here in the US and places like that, so like Canada and stuff, they're more open to say they're depressed. And in Mexico, it's like, when I ask my mom's like, nobody, nobody says that. Me growing up, nobody ever said they were depressed. And maybe because they're too busy, or I don't know.
I don't think nobody really knew about
what depression was,
and also if that it even existed.
Maybe they just didn't know how to identify.
Yeah, because like people were sad all the time for all types of shit.
And we just call it sad.
Yeah,
being sad.
And then
like I was sad yesterday,
but I still go to work. But people say like depression was like where you can't do shit. Like you're at home and you don't want to do nothing. Like no energy and like all. And then I'm not sure, like how do you get out of that when you just don't want to do nothing? You need some outside source to come in and like lift you up a little bit, or that's why
because I don't know. That's why to me it's always like you got God. That's it. If you really want to get pulled out, you got to turn to God. But if you're an atheist, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell anybody because, when you talk about God, people, that's a whole different conversation. So I don't know. But I do think mental illness is real. Like I do think, you have to be aware of that. I think your thoughts can poison your mind and shit like that. So I think it's a reality. So I just don't know why it's not as
spoken about,
heard of. Yeah,
in Mexico.
In Mexico, I can't speak for other places. I've never been in other places. I only been in Mexico and the US.
Maybe in the smaller towns, villages, like in the big city, maybe it's different.
But I do see that. I see poverty. When you're poor, you're very envious. I do see that.
Of everyone?
Of people who have it and you don't. And yeah, I do see that. I do see people like, I don't know what they're thinking, but I'm probably they're thinking like, why him and not me? Like he's not better than me. And that's true, right? But I just don't think being envious is the way. Like you have to make your own way. If you don't have it, I understand it sucks and you're not as blessed as like the start off of your life, but you can't just sit there and be mad that other people have it. You have to be, if anything, you should use that as motivation. When every time I hear people talking about success, a lot of times these rappers who I like seen their come up, and I know like, yeah, they were poor or they didn't really have it like that, and now they're winning and now they have all these nice things or whatever. I'm always like, yeah. And even when they talk shit, like, yeah, like I got this now, look at my house. To me, it's never like mad at them. It's always like, hell yeah, that like, it's like almost motivation. Like, yeah, one day I'm gonna have my shit too. One day so I'm happy you got yours. I'm happy you got yours. You deserve it. You worked hard enough, right? You deserve it. So I always use it like motivation, never to be like hateful about what other persons have and shit like that.
I don't know if it's instilled like that. If that mentality is instilled from birth, or it's like something you grow to do because everyone else does it. But it seems like everyone is always into why is it that people get upset when somebody's winning? And like, let's say you guys are both janitors, but one janitor gets paid a lot more than you do, and this janitor finds out, and you guys are doing the same shit, right? And he automatically says, "Fuck this dude."
Yeah, when it's like, I understand that because he's like, this dude's not better than me and stuff like that. But you're pointing your anger in the wrong direction. You shouldn't even have anger, period. Yeah. But you're pointing in the wrong direction. Blame management. You say, "Oh, that's cool, bro. You're making more than me. That's cool. I'm gonna go have a chat with the manager. Hey, listen, no hate towards him, huh? But like, I'm doing the same job. I'm putting the same output out. I'm cleaning the same bathrooms that he's cleaning. It's not like he's cleaning more or I'm cleaning less or anything like that. So I feel I deserve the same thing. But a lot of time we fight with each other instead of fighting with the problem. Yeah. So, and that's how I see that in a lot of these places where I used to work at. They get mad at you. Like, I'm the problem. How am I the problem?
And they also get mad because of age. Like,
Yeah.
how is it that this kid is 20, 30 years younger than me, and he's at the same pay that I am?
Yeah, like, fuck that. He should have to suffer like I did.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
To me, like, if I have any type of knowledge that it took me years to acquire, and somebody just wants to know it, I'll teach you it. I don't want you to go through that because I already went through that shit. Sucked. So if I can teach you something, like how I know about microphones and stuff, when anybody asks me, I'm like, I'll hook you up with the whole setup, bro. I'll tell you what to buy, what to do. It's all up to you on how much you're willing to learn about the shit. Because I can't teach you everything and everything. I don't got time to teach you everything, but I'll tell you exactly what I use, how to use it, how to plug it in, what you need, stuff like that. And I'll help you whenever I can. But a lot of people are like, nah, fuck that. It took me this long to acquire this shit. I'm not going to teach nobody shit. They have to learn it on their own. They have to go, but it doesn't make any sense because I think when you have that mentality, you believe that there's not enough for everybody and there's plenty for everybody. Or either that, or you feel insecure about yourself when you're not. Like, I don't have a problem with other people winning because I feel there's plenty for all of us. You can win and I can win too.
It's just like when you feel like I'm gonna get it regardless. It doesn't matter. It don't matter how many people around me succeed because I'm gonna succeed regardless, even if there wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Even if there wasn't enough, and I see all these people succeeding, it still would be like I don't care because I'm gonna get mine regardless. Doesn't matter who or what I gotta do.
Yeah, because I just who you gotta do? Oh damn.
Yeah, it don't matter.
But it's like, because me, I always remember, like, when I was frustrated trying to learn this shit, like, and I remember hitting these roadblocks and thinking, like, putting my head down and being like, fuck, this is impossible. Like, I don't know, I'm not gonna be able to do this shit. And being so, I'd get headaches and shit from a lot of the shit. And they would always think like, it's just, man, I'm not capable. But that's that devil shit that's feeding into you. Motherfuckers trying to take away, make you believe that you ain't valuable, that you ain't worth it and shit.
That you're not the one.
That you're not the one. And everybody always says that you're not the one. But I'm not. You say that like if I'm Jesus or something, huh? Like we're all not the one. What are you talking about? We're all not the one. But like when I realized when people were like, consistency beats talent, I'm like, fuck, that's true. So even if I'm not as talented as the next dude, as long as I'm working more than him, I'm gonna win. And that's just the reality. And it's like, how many times have I told you about rappers who I feel like are hella talented, like Little Sam, and I feel like people should hear him. So I'll put his stuff up. I'll put a link to one of his things or something. Because I always felt like he needs to get shine. I feel like he's hella good at rapping. He outshines a lot of people. And he didn't get a deal. As far as I know, I don't see him with a deal or anything. And I feel like he deserves it off talent alone. I'm like, he's hella good. And it's hard, I think, to make, when you're independent and you're broke, to make good music because you need money. If you don't know how to work this motherfucker to mix and master and shit like that, and not everybody learns how to mix and master, they still go to the studio. They still pay for studio time by the hour. And that's just expensive. But that's what you have to do if you want a certain quality and if you want to skip the whole learning process, whatever. But I just feel like there's so much talented people that deserve to make it based off talent. But I don't know. It just didn't happen. And I'm like, that sucks, because I can't imagine of what he would put out if he had the battery. You know, like if he had the people pushing him, if he had the money, if he had the resources, like what type of album, like his greatness, like
it would never be seen.
It seems like that, because if he's good right now and he has limited resources, if he's scavenging up what he has to make this type of art, which I feel is hella good, imagine what he can do when he has other people helping him, bringing him resources, helping him mix and master, helping him with this. And so he only has to focus on the art. I'm like, that shit would be hella tight. There's a lot of people on the internet who people feel have no talent and still are popular. So somebody's rocking with them. And that's what you realize when I heard Wallow too. And I said this before too, but like, I don't need the whole world to rock with me. You know, you just need a little small corner. Do you know how big the world is?
Yeah.
How many people exist? So that's why, like, if somebody comes and listens to us and say, this is not for me, I'm okay with that. I'm like, okay, I understand. And I still be like, thanks, because you gave us a chance. Even that chance to me is like, oh, thank you. Like, genuinely. Because you didn't have to take time out of your day to listen to our shit. So even giving us a chance, I appreciate it. But if it's not for you, then it's not for you. And it's fine. But a lot of people get mad that
It's
you
like-
have a podcast. And it's like,
yeah,
why? I don't know.
They make it seem like you took something from them. Like, hey, I just spent a minute of my life, all right, or 30 seconds of my life
watching.
So yeah, and because I didn't get nothing out of it, it didn't entertain. It didn't meet their expectation. Now they feel like they got to jab you for it.
But then you really have to analyze your life to be like, did I waste your time by putting content out there, or did you waste your time by being on your phone? You had to analyze that. So I don't know. I don't see the point in saying, oh, it's another podcast, right? Like, just skip it. You don't have to follow it. Just skip it. And that, like, I guess, the only thing I could think of is if it's the algorithm, right? But the algorithm, as far as I'm concerned, works on things you like. So if you are on TikTok and you like videos, or you consistently watch the same type of videos, TikTok is gonna push that. Yeah. So push similar videos that they believe you like based on watch time, likes, and etc. So if the only thing I could think of why people would get mad is if they like were scrolling through our shit and they're like, oh, I don't like this shit, and they skipped it, and then the next day it pops up again, and then 2 days later it pops up again. Maybe they're like, fuck, man, I don't want to watch these motherfuckers. But I don't know. I just feel like you have to source for good content anyways, right? It just is what it is. What's entertaining to you might not be entertaining to this person. People send me videos that they think is funny, and I don't think it's funny. And sometimes I show you a video and you don't laugh like I did. So it is what it is. It's all up to the person, I guess.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal though. Fuck it. We only need a small niche of motherfuckers to fuck with us. And even if that small niche don't exist, fuck it. Who cares?
But I just think that we have to applaud people who continue to try. Because if you don't try, you can't win.
I know, and it seems like
you can't win if you don't try.
People have this fear of putting themselves out there in front of other people doing shit it's not the norm. It's not the norm for people to be our ages right now. I have kids doing shit like this and being at home all damn day. They're like, oh, you're a weirdo. Why you not out doing what people around your age are doing?
Yeah.
But it's like everybody shouldn't be the same. That's how it should be. I don't want to be like the next motherfucker. That's not me. And I'm only focused on me and making my life and my family's life better. So whatever avenue that is, no matter if it's considered weird or abnormal, that's the one I'm gonna pursue.
But I think being weird is a good thing, because why would you want to be like just another person? People are like, yeah, it's just another person. But I don't know. I just think people are so in the system.
What would you consider? What would you consider success? Like, I know right now we already won, right? We already won. But like, let's say for you to be like, damn, like.
I think my version of success is how balanced is my happiness. So if I were to measure it, if like people say, like, write down your feelings, like wake up, write down how you felt in the morning, write down how you felt in the evening, write down how you went to bed, like how were you thinking, stuff like that. So that way you can look back on it and like put it into values of like, okay, most of the times in the evening I was happy. Most of the times in the morning I was sad. So then you can like really measure it, like, okay, I noticed that there's a pattern In the morning, I'm always sad. And then you can boil it down to, okay, so what do I do in the morning? Okay, I get up, I drink coffee, and I go straight to work. And then that's it. And then I go to lunch. I get out at 2. Oh, okay, so the work is making me. So what can I do to possibly increase that of me being sad or dreading the morning? But that's like real like deep shit. But to me, like success is the level of happiness I have, and if I won. Like, because if you can, like, a lot of people's success to them is money. But when your success is money, how much money is it that you need to be successful? And why? And really boil it down, because I boil everything down. So it's like, if it's money, right? Okay, if you're like, when I have a nice car, when I have a nice house, when I have all these things, okay, well, why? Why is it that? A person once said, like, or ask yourself for what? So if you're like, I want money, ask yourself for what? Why you want money? And he said, really boil it down. So you'll be like, oh, because I want to have nice things. Why is it important for you to have nice things? Oh, because it makes me feel good, or whatever. Do you really need these things to feel good? Like, is the money, the things you have, like, if you really boil it down, because to me, it's like, money is the reason why money is cool is because just the security. That's really what it is. The security in being able to give yourself and your family members more freedom, and to show your family members what's out there, things that we've never experienced. And it sucks because money is the
key.
Yeah, to that
door,
to the other side. And that sucks, but it's just the way it is.
And
but
you don't need to go into that other side to achieve a crazy high level of happiness. But when you experience the first time we went to Chicago, and it was that much more tight, because we got to experience it for the first time, me, you, and Robert together for the first time, and it seemed like a different world.
Yeah, it seemed because we never experienced this,
and that was we were only able to do that because of money, right? Yeah. We were able to pay for all this shit to go over there, and it sucks. It sucks for the people who never are able to afford some shit like that, and it sucks that money puts a limit to how much shit you can explore and find out, but. I don't know. It just seems like
it's because it's a difference when you just see things on TV, and then you're actually there. When we went to the fights, like, and you actually see the ring and you're there, it's almost unreal. Like when we went to go see a Suns game for the first time, and you see the players come out, and you're like, oh, this motherfucker's real. He's right there.
Yeah.
And you can really see like the difference between someone being on screen and someone in real life. Like, he's right there.
It looks weird, though, huh? Like, it looks weird. It looks like you're in virtual reality.
Yeah, it almost seems something else.
Because it's like you can't believe. Well, you can believe. It's just your mind plays this weird thing in your head where you're like, I've seen him on TV for so long, and then there he is right there. I can see him. I can touch him if I go over there and run it, though, right? Mm-hmm. And it just. It's tight. It's tight, and you don't really understand that feeling until you actually go live.
Yeah, and you do it, huh?
Yeah. So that's why it's just expensive. Like,
everything's expensive. Like, we never even been to Disneyland. Never in our lives, ever. We never been to Disneyland. We've been to like Six Flags and stuff, but like Disneyland, I feel like every kid deserves to go to Disneyland. Right? Every kid deserves to go to Universal Studios. Every kid deserves to go to the new Mario shit that came out. Right? You seen that?
No.
Like this, like I don't know. Yeah, I think
it's an amusement park.
It's somewhat like
a
that.
Nintendo own.
Yeah, base? It's like it's shit clean. Like, I want to go there, but it's like a kid shit. It's like you go.
Where is it?
It's in
California.
Yeah, I think it's in California. I told my sister she should take her kids there because they love like Nintendo stuff, like Mario and stuff. But I'm like, that shit's tight. Every kid in the world deserves that. Deserves to be able to go and have that much fun. Right?
Disneyland is a fucking big ass company, as far as like money, they'd be making hella money. I feel like Disneyland should have some type of program where they fly in people all over
From
the
their work,
country.
yeah.
Yeah, everywhere, little kids and their families and stuff, and fly them in for a week, and they spend the week in the hotel, and then they fly them back. But it kind of seems fucked up though. Huh? It's like you dangle, you make them aware of what they're missing out, and then you send them back to wherever the hell they came from.
But I don't think they'll view it like that.
But it's still worth it though, huh? They should still do some shit like that.
Yeah, because I think, like I said, everybody deserves to experience it. Like Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man to me is like the best Marvel character, based on what Stan Lee said about like, it's amazing that the way he created him is that he wears a suit and a mask. So he's like, you never know what's under the mask. It can be a black guy, it can be a Mexican, it can be whoever. So he said to him like, that's a real superhero. But he said a quote like, the person who does something along these lines of the person who does good because it's the right thing to do, he's the real superhero. And it's just like what Spider-Man represents. And I always, every time I see Spider-Man, I think of Stan Lee. And that's why I'm like, oh,
Who's Stanley?
He's the dude who created him.
It's an old man?
Yeah, he died already.
Oh.
He used to have like a little
Oh,
figure.
I know what you're talking about.
He pops out on all the movies.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, not anymore, but before he would pop out on the movies. And then I always think of him and his vision, because he said nobody believed in Spider-Man. Because he was like, at that time, he's like, I wanted Spider-Man to be a teenage kid and have normal problems. Like normally he's like superheroes or like they're
got it together.
They're above and stuff like that.
Like
And he's
Batman,
like, no,
huh?
he's gonna have relationship problems. He's like, he's gonna have these type of problems. He's human, whatever. And he's like, when he pitched it, or when he I think when he drew the comic or something, I don't remember exactly, but he said that they didn't believe in it. And then one time I think they said that they were missing a piece in the newspaper or something, and they needed something for it. And then he's like, I have my Spider-Man thing. And he said they put it in there, and then it became a hit. And then everybody was like, yeah, that was a great idea. And he's like, even though they were knocking me. And then it just seems like he said it, don't ever let anybody like doubt your shit, because like, look at him. Look at Spider-Man now. Every kid loves Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a shit.
There's so many.
I wish that motherfucker was real, huh? I wish that motherfucker was really flying in New York. That'd be tight. And that's why when I see these these dudes who are real athletic, and they wear the Spider-Man costume, and they go to like hospitals and stuff like that, and in front of the children, and they can do backflips and shit, like the parkour kids, and they do shit like that and almost create for the kids a reality of Spider-Man's real. I just think that's hella tight. I think that's hella genuine and hella real. And I think that's
especially because you're doing it for the kids.
For the kids, and that's hella tight. Like when my little brother was in the hospital and he was finally gonna get to leave. You remember when they brought Santa Claus, because it was in December. He was in the hospital for how long? I think 2 weeks. And when it was time for him to leave, Santa came to the hospital. Well, it's a dude dressed as Santa, but he was giving out gifts. And he's like, we heard this is you're leaving. And he's like, what do they call it? You're being discharged today. Yeah. And he's like, we're glad we caught you. And he gave my brother a gift. And he's like, hopefully you're better and all these things. I'm like, that shit's tight. That's hella tight for people to do that. And just to give out toys and shit to little kids. I think kids deserve everything, huh? Kids.
Yeah, because it sucks when you see a kid in a bad situation, because kids are innocent.
Like, it's done now. Like, if somebody said like, I'll take you to Disneyland, I'd be like, fuck that. Take a kid to Disneyland. I already missed it. People would say like, no, you didn't. You didn't. No, but it's not as valuable.
It don't hit you as much.
That kid, as that. Give it to that kid. Don't give it to me. He deserves it. Like me, I already missed my opportunity. And it just is what it is. I'm not upset about it. I can still go, what I'm saying? But I'm just saying it's different when you go as a kid. That's when you're meant to go.
And it's because you're still a child. Everything's so that we haven't experienced the world as you have now. And when you go in, there's so much excitement. It's like your birthday. Yeah, it's just hella excited, crazy excited to oh, I can't wait. Only two. You could be counting down the days, huh? It's like 2 more days, 2 more, because you're gonna get gifts and shit. And when you get old, you be forgetting.
You don't even. Yeah, I don't even. You don't even be remembering that it's your birthday.
Until day of when people are telling you, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot.
And why I think that is?
I think just because it's not as impactful as far as like you're not looking forward to it because you're not getting anything. Like as a kid, you were getting,
And a lot of people, even people I know, they're almost like, fuck, it's my birthday. Everybody's gonna come to me and it's gonna make me feel awkward. Everybody gotta acknowledge me today. Everybody gotta hug me. And it's like, I know some people who are like, I don't like that. So I think
I think it's something that you gotta grow into, because I don't really for my birthday I don't really the same shit about people coming, oh happy birthday, all this shit, and I'm like it's you gotta appreciate it because it's like another you have another year of life, like God gave you another year of life. And
but I the reason why to me, well, that I remind myself and I try to tell myself why I don't really care, like it's just another day, because it's like people are like, you're not excited, like, because it's like every day is a good day, not just my birthday. I guess you could just see it like you said, another year, like I made it another year, but to me every day is a good day. And like just trying to force that into my brain, like trying to program that into my brain to wake up like, yes, it's a good day today. I woke up today, like, because a lot of us don't have that. And even doing things like trying to wake up every day and acknowledge God before I get up. Like how in The Chosen, Jesus, every time he got up, he said something. Every time he fell asleep, he said, "Thank you for I don't know exactly what he said, but something like that." I'm like, yeah, I've been trying to do that. Wake up, acknowledge God, and then go about my business. It's like, I don't know. It's just tied to me.
when you wake up with an alarm.
Yeah, I wake up with an alarm. You know what I wanted to do? There's this thing you can buy that you can put on the blinds, and it would open at a set time slowly. So the sun will hit you or the light will hit you. And I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that somehow it's a better way of waking your brain up, because he said when you wake up to the alarm, I think it's just so like the method of it to boom, 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 boom. Like I don't think it's like a good idea for your brain,
Because every time
I think you're supposed to naturally wake up to like sunlight.
so I set my alarm at 6 every morning, and so the alarm goes off at 6. The banana clip theory, and I'm like, I hate that song, right? And then I'll wake up, and then I never feel rested, and I'm not sure if it's because of my alarm. And then I'll even though I got like 7 hours, right? I'll get like 7 hours of sleep. I don't ever feel fully rested. And the days that I don't have, like on Sundays, I don't put my alarm on. My alarm don't go off. I mean, so I'll just wake up whenever I wake up, and then I'm up, and then I feel fine. I feel good. But my alarm rings every 10 minutes because I put snooze because I'm not trying to get up. So you think it's better to just set my alarm to 6:30 and wake up at 6:30, like for the first time?
It is.
Then to just hit the snooze 3 times?
Yeah, I think it is better. Like you're supposed to be more well rested if that's how you do it. But when you said you said Sunday you don't put your alarm, that's what you said. So do you still wake up at the same time? Because
I'll wake up at 7
yeah, without the alarm.
without the alarm.
And so people say like it's a thing of like telling your brain knows. It like develops a pattern. And when you consistently go to sleep at a certain time and consistently wake up at a certain time, it knows like it's time to wake up. And I just think that's kind of tight. But because like my shit is all over the place sometimes, it does not like that for me. I'll wake up and it's 11. Oh shit, it's 11 a.m. So on the weekends, and I would like, but then I could tell when I wake up how my body tells me right away, you're not ready. Good. Go back to sleep.
Yeah, no, I Sundays it seems like you wake up and I feel rested, and because there's no alarm, I'll just get up. I'll wake up. I'll usually wake up to the sound of a TV somewhere in the house on, because usually
does the sound bleed into your room?
faint, like very faint.
Because like if I have my fan on, I can't hear shit. And that's what I noticed. Like sometimes like I'll wake up and because my fan's on, I don't hear anything. Either my hearing's trash or I just don't hear anything. And then I get up and open the door to go to the bathroom and then I hear the music bumping. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this door is not like soundproof for me not to hear it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not paying attention.
It doesn't wake me up, but I do realize, I do notice it when I wake up, but I don't have no fan on or nothing. You know, one thing that's weird for me is I be going to sleep. Like I go to sleep like a normal person, right? My head, I don't like pillows. My neck hates pillows. So I don't, no pillows, right? So I just go to sleep in the position that a normal person would go to sleep in, right?
Which is what?
Which is like
on your back,
the head towards the headboard and your feet towards the bottom of the bed.
Yeah.
I go to sleep like that and my ass will wake up like, and I did a 180 and I'm like sideways on the bed now.
But you don't remember doing that?
No, I don't remember doing that. Okay. I just wake up like that and I'm like, I sometimes I do remember moving around, but I don't remember doing a 180. And then I'm like, I don't think this is normal, but it's just like the bed is so big and I don't like
staying in one spot.
When you readjust and you get that freshness, that freshness of like the fresh spot that you just made. You fall asleep so like comfortable that I don't, maybe that's why my body just does that. Repositions.
I'm different. Like I'm in the same spot, always at the same spot. And like there's nights where I toss and turn because of my back. Like this shit hurts sometimes. So I'll toss and turn, but I wouldn't like, very, very rarely will I end up, almost never, like how you just said, with a complete 80 with my head towards the foot where your feet go. And that rarely ever happens to me, ever. If I can't even remember. So I'm always stationed to the one spot. And I always like, it's the left side of the bed. I always sleep on the left side of the bed. Always on the left side of the bed. I don't go to the right side. I just throw the pillows over there. But I have to have a pillow. I have to have a pillow, but I have to have a soft pillow. Because it fucks up my neck, like you said. Hard ass fucking pillows.
Yeah, the pillows I have in my room are
probably
because
they're cheap.
Yeah,
because there's no way people with money are sleeping with no pillows.
No, these bitches are tough.
And my rock hard.
My neck hurts.
So and then you realize, like I see pictures of the spine, how people say it's supposed to, you got to try to get it perfectly flat as possible to have a good night rest. And that's why they say when you elevate your feet, it helps your spine.
Yeah, it helps your lower back, because it seems like when I lay down perfectly flat on the bed, there's an arch on my lower back. And I'm like, how the fuck I get rid of that? And the only way you get rid of that is you lift your feet up, like you told me.
Yeah.
Put pillows underneath, and then it's perfectly flat. And that's why when I lay on the floor, like I don't know what it is about the floor, but if you lay on the floor, like just in your living room, you put your feet up on the couch, this shit comfy than a bitch. And it's only comfortable for like probably like 20 minutes.
Good little while.
20, 30 minutes. But if you guys take a quick little nap, that shit.
Well, they say that when you elevate your feet above your heart, well, they say that your heart works less to pump blood. But what I didn't understand, right? Because they say the blood naturally returns back because it's using gravity, right? To fall down back to your heart. But I'm like, it still has to go up. So that's why I was
gotta circulate.
So I'm like, right? Because if your legs are up and your body is down like this, doesn't it mean your heart has to work harder to pump the blood up to your legs? Yeah, it doesn't have to work as hard to get the blood back because it's using gravity. But doesn't it have to work harder?
You would think.
That's what I don't understand. But when people who know sleep, who study sleep, who say that, I mean, I believe them because I'm sure they had fucking research and shit that tells you. But my dumb ass just thinks like that. But then sometimes my fucking legs hurt from doing that.
Oh, they go to sleep?
I don't know. I just feel weird. I had to, like, after a couple hours, sometimes I sleep perfect like that. But sometimes I had to remove the pillows.
You would think that they would upgrade the beds by now, huh? Been the same fucking format since freaking forever.
Well, not really, because we moved from springs to like purple and shit.
Yeah, but
gel.
it's been the same fucking thing, just flat.
It should be fucking.
It should be. You know how they put when you go to the dentist for like braces and shit, and they put some fucking clay or some shit in your mouth, and then you bite down on it.
Yeah, they
mold and it molds to your teeth.
Yeah.
They should have a fucking bed that you go and lay in, and then that shit molds to your fucking your body, and it somehow has AC and heat somehow, so that you guys never get you know how
it like gives you the perfect consistent temperature. Huh?
Yeah,
make sleep. It a pod, huh?
Yeah,
like a pod, like, and then you hop in it. And then it just puts a mask over your face so you can breathe, and then it's all comfortability, whether it's with cotton or
and you're like
gel.
you're in like water. You're held in water.
That like water beds?
Well, not because there's a layer. Like you gotta be.
You want to be in water?
In water,
but that would fuck you up though.
There's somehow make it so that you wouldn't.
How would that become? That don't even seem.
It's just so that the weight of everything is being supported perfectly, like molded. Because water, it surrounds you 100%.
Sometimes I'm like, fuck, I don't want to sleep. Like, if I can remove that shit from my life, I would. Like, and what I mean by that is like being able to function and everything be 100% and not be degrading to my health and shit like that by not sleeping. If I can do that, I would. Like,
just to get an extra 8 hours?
Sleep is awesome, but I'd rather be awake if I can.
You don't, like you're saying, like sleep is not.
Like I only sleep because my brain, if I don't, it fucks me up. Like I begin, like if I don't sleep for a long time, I'll start seeing shit.
It don't feel good though?
Sleeping? It does feel good. But like if I, like it doesn't feel good enough for where me, like.
It's worth 8 hours?
Like I only like sleep because I need it. Like that's it. Like I would like to be up. I'd rather stay up, watch movies, or do whatever. That way I can have a better balance of like doing work and then chilling. Doing work and chilling. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson said that sleep is so weird. Like if aliens came down, they might be like, you guys need to be unconscious for 8 hours to operate? Like what the fuck? Like they might not even need that shit.
It's crazy because your body reconstructs itself at nighttime, huh?
And that's like, when it heals.
Yeah, when you're at night, when you're actually sleeping, your body's into like restoration mode, huh? Everything restoration, everything. Anything that's hurting, it's restored.
I think, the only thing I think that's tight about sleep is dreams. Cause like you know how people say like, what do they call that? Lucid dreaming. You can control your dreams and shit. And the only reason I think that's tight is because you can be in a whole different world. And that's the only way to really be in another world right now.
I don't really know. I've never experienced that lucid dreaming.
But you've been in crazy dreams though, right?
I've been in dreams where I'm like, damn, thank God I woke up. Because I was seconds away from like
death.
Yeah. Oh. Like that, like where would this have gone? If I didn't, like I was getting chased by something hella scary.
It's hella interesting to me how people still don't understand sleep. How scientists will say we don't really know a lot about sleep, like why we sleep, why we dream, what the fuck is that? Where do we come from? You know how people say you can be going to another dimension or fucking another reality, and then you coming back because why do they feel so real? And how is it that I have dreams in which I feel like I'm awake and I have similar people around me, like I have you in there in my dream, and you're almost like awake, but you're still resting. If my brain's still working, how am I resting? Right?
Yeah.
Because if your brain is working, making all these things, how does it work in sleep? Like,
and you're thinking, huh?
Yeah,
you're not only are you living,
you're making decisions,
but you're thinking like, what should I do here?
So part of the brain, unless there's a part of the brain, which there probably is, that is what needs the rest. It's like the battery of the fucking brain, and that needs the rest.
And everything else is just
and the drain shit. The dreams is operated with a different piece of the brain. I don't know, but like, what if like the Neuralink allowed you to lucid dream? Then that would be a drug, huh?
Yeah, because people would want to be sleeping all day.
Yeah, because they would create their own reality.
And they would
create their reality where they're king and shit. People are sucking on their toes and shit.
24/7.
Yeah, like that. With some, you know how people do that.
Well, people back in the day, in like medieval days, would have people who they had a guy who would come in and tell jokes, like were they the fool, whatever, the like whenever they wanted to get entertained, if it wasn't like music or whatever, they would have a guy and tell them jokes or stories or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, what the hell were we talking about?
I said like lucid dreaming. Like if the Neuralink allowed you to lucid dream, right? It would be a drug because then people would abuse it. They would they would be like, I hate my real life. So let me plug into this shit real quick and go to this alternate shit and live my life there. Where I have everything. I have money, I have a house, I have a wife, I have this, I have unlimited money, I got all the hoes.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It just seems like this type. It seems like I never want shit that's easy. I never like if something is like if I could achieve something. If I achieve something, I wanna work for it. And when something's just given to me easy, like the easy way out, like if there's two roads ahead of me and they both lead to the same shit, and like let's say a mango, the fruit, right? At the end of the road, I get to enjoy a mango. And this road is just a fucking no problem, just gives it to me. And this one, I gotta actually do some jumps and hops and in order to get it, I'll rather do it this because it's more deserving.
I think that's a pride thing. That's really what it is. It's just a pride thing. Like my dad always said, like if you want nice things, you work for it. You know, you never take. You have to earn your shit. Earn it. My dad always said that. Earn. He made that clear. Because then when you earn it, you'll feel deserving of whatever that is. I deserve this shit. And that's what the pride is. That's pride though. Of like, yeah, I have a nice car, but I earned that shit. And it just feels better than if somebody just gave it to you. But that's a pride thing, I think.
Yeah, so I don't know. It just seems like this world's too tight. Even with all the bad shit, this world's still too tight to just to throw it away for virtual reality or like or being in
a simulated reality.
Yeah, like because it just seems like you're tricking yourself to thinking that you got it good when you need to make it so you got it good in this world.
But people
that's way
like,
more
why?
badass.
Why when I could already have it here?
Because it's not real.
And I think a lot of people don't want to work.
I guess it is real to
them. They don't want to work.
Yeah, the working. I feel
Imagine that. Imagine that right there. Like for these people, you know how life is based on luck. As far as like if you're born in America, if you're born in Afghanistan, if you're born whatever. Like what if it's no longer that by a simulated reality? Like for those who have it good, they live in the real world. But for those who have it bad, they're plugged in since birth. Or it's their choice, but like since never they have a consciousness, and they're like, okay, oh yeah, fuck that, plug in. You think that'd be? You think that would be a reality? Because look, if you think about it, if the Neuralink was affordable for everyone, you're gonna tell me that the people who live in these countries who don't have these things wouldn't use it more? As far as like plug into this lucid dreaming, just say that. I feel like they would, right?
Yeah, but I feel like even people who were born in good circumstances would, so just because they don't want to work towards that goal of achieving that life that they have in the virtual reality world in this real world. It all comes back to how much you really want it and how much you really want to work for it. And if there's an easy route, seems like I'm not sure if it's the tendency.
But then again, look, because you say you want to work for it, but then to play like what they call it, devil's advocate, they would be like, okay, so then how come you use power tools, motherfucker? Use a wrench. Why are you over here when you work on cars? Why are you like with the shit if you want to work for it?
Because it's
you ought to say that's hypocritical.
It's not hypocritical when
they'll be like, you a bitch for that.
It's not. It's different though,
because you're taking advantage of the shit that makes it easier.
I know, and it does make it easier, but you got to understand that in order for it to be plausible, for you to bring me your car to me, right, and not wait for 6 months to get it back, you need shit like this. You need equipment in order to make it convenient for the customer. If you can bring me a car and I can wrench that bitch by hand, right? It's doable. But the time that you're gonna wait and the more money you're gonna have to pay me because it's gonna take me a lot longer to do the job makes no sense.
So that's
the reason
okay,
why.
so-
So it's more so for the customer too, not just for me.
So you're saying it only when it's up to you and it only affects you, right?
It depends. I better hit me with something.
I'm trying to think of another thing.
'Cause
I'm trying to stump your ass.
Because I think technology is tight. Technology is tight in the convenience. The convenience,
I think you have
because
to
even
take
even though
advantage
with
of
this,
technology.
even though when you have technology, the shit's still hard because it involves it involves you.
It's because you can't go back to bow arrows when you got pistols, when you got assault rifles.
Because it would make no
You can't
sense.
go back to killing the motherfucker with your hands when you know other people got guns, right?
Oh, so what do you think would happen if like aliens came down and took away all everything as far as like guns, so now don't like I guess the only thing you'd be able to do, like, you can't even create weapons anymore. But I guess everything's really a weapon. But let's say like there's no longer like gunpowder, no more gunpowder. Like somehow all the elements that were required to make it were gone. You couldn't make them anymore. So everything went back to swords and fucking arrows and stuff. There's no longer the way of, like, I guess now they have lasers that can not blow up, but like catch it on fire. You know how those laser guns?
Yeah.
It can
But
pop
what's
balloons.
the question?
I forgot what the hell I was talking about.
You're
Oh yeah, let's say that somehow no more guns in the whole world, no more missiles, no more gunpowder, no more any of that shit. What do you think would happen? Who would rule the world? She would have to go back to like fighting wars with swords.
Well, I think
and arrows.
That's an interesting question. But I think because
it would come back to numbers, huh?
Yeah, numbers. Yeah,
numbers and like skill. Because it's samurai.
Because if they deleted guns, that's it. They don't delete like ways of travel.
No,
so just guns.
Just guns.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting because, well, we would all be as square one. No, motherfuckers would have an advantage because there's motherfuckers to this day who train with swords. So whoever those people will be would be like, oh, we're America now. You know, and as long as they got the numbers, it would just be, everybody would go crazy with the training. They're like, everybody got to pick up a sword.
Yeah, because that means helicopters still exist, right? Helicopters.
Yeah, because that's the reason, like, the arsenal of America is the reason why it doesn't get attacked. Like, if all that shit went away, the missiles, all that shit, the fucking bombs, all that shit went away, and it's just like contact. Like, imagine China. It would be fucking Viking days. Who got the bigger army? Well, who knows who had to fight too? Because a good motherfucker like the samurai, those motherfuckers were no joke.
That's why it'd be crazy to think like, okay,
yeah, you think it would be America? I don't think so.
The only reason why I think it'd be America still was solely because they still have the boats, the ships, right?
They don't have missiles.
They have airplanes,
but they don't have they're useless.
All they do is a method of travel. As far as travel, and because they can travel all around the world and stay out for a long time, they'd be able to. It's a lot easier to invade other countries when you have the means to travel there.
Imagine how crazy it would be if that's how war still was.
Oh, and
how many motherfuckers would be fighting with swords right now in Russia, Ukraine? You just see videos of motherfuckers like,
It's crazy because you can
charging and shit,
just like Bannerlord.
That shit is raw. When I see like, well, there's nothing really like to see, but when you look at history and when you see how these motherfuckers really fought with blades and shit, like, that's gangsta as hell.
And it's
with
a lot.
Armies.
That's a lot.
You're just looking at the other army on the other side. Let's go, huh?
And it's a lot more brutal, and it's a lot more traumatic because you're out here chopping people's heads off.
Yeah,
and
you're seeing this shit all around you. I never like understood like Oh, I understood it, but I just didn't know how you can process that. Like when you, for the Vikings or any of these people who fought in that time, like when you have an army and the other people have an army and you guys collide, how would you not be paranoid that somebody's behind you when you're in the middle of it?
Oh yeah.
Like where do you look? You're
Yeah.
like, this motherfucker's right
There's
here.
no uniform.
But you're just like, well, I'm pretty sure that you can tell, distinguish.
Yeah.
But it would be hella paranoid. Like I would be hella paranoid. Because once you get this motherfucker right here, this whole maybe you just have to accept that there might be a motherfucker behind me. You just gotta keep going. And then if you get hit, you get hit. Maybe that's the way they accepted it, but because there's so many people,
Yeah.
and you can't. There's so much shit going on. You can't keep your eye on everything.
And the odds of you surviving are hella low, huh? Especially if you're amongst the first few.
Do you think that people, as far as the military, would have the same numbers?
You would have more.
You think so?
You
No,
would
I'm
need
saying
more.
because willingly.
Yeah, they
Like
would.
you think people would be
willingly?
like, because shooting a motherfucker. A lot of people could shoot, but cutting a motherfucker's head off with a sword or stabbing him with a sword, like you think people would be more like, oh shit.
Yeah, I feel like
think that process.
Well, it would need to be like, let's say if it happened today, it would take a few generations of that shit in order for it to become back
Normal.
to people get numb to it.
But for people to want to do it,
Yeah.
willingly.
Oh yeah, and enjoying.
Because
I think
no matter what,
it's
it's such a traumatic thing. People have PTSD from bullets and shit. Well, that shit's crazy too, though, because I mean, you see somebody's head get fucking blown off. So,
Yeah.
with a bullet. So it's not to say that it's less trauma. I'm sure that shit's crazy too.
Yeah, people. I think they would have to force people into the
because like, do you think because America, right? America has so many people coming in willingly, that if they didn't have the numbers coming in willingly, you think America would be like, you have to, kind of like what they do in China,
Yeah.
right? Because in China you have to go, don't you?
For a minimum of 6 months or some shit like that.
You have to go as soon
For
as
a
you're
year
of
or
age or
something.
something.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you think the reason why it's not like that in America is because they have so many voluntarily?
Well, I feel like training. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's anything wrong when it comes to training. Like if the U.S. said, like it was like a thing after high school, mandatory, fresh out of high school, you got to go do 6 months of training, military training, where they teach you how to use a firearm, self-defense, right? They teach you like just shit that when it comes to training you to survive and also for combat in case we need you one day. I feel like that's not bad because they're just training you how to protect yourself and use firearms and also give you a better understanding of the military, right? Because I think when you have no knowledge of how the military works, you just go off of what you hear online and what you read about. Yeah. But if you live it, I feel like it's you'd have a different perspective of how shit goes on, and I think that would push for the shit to get better, the military to get better, all kinds of branches to improve in all types of way that maybe one person perspective wasn't good enough so that this idea sparked. But I feel like it wouldn't be a bad thing for it to be a requirement. It just seems like that's more of like a right that they're trying to force you to go do something where if you shouldn't have to do it if you don't want to. But I feel like it wouldn't be. I feel like it wouldn't be that bad. But
do you think that it would make there would be less soft motherfuckers out here? If that was a thing, like if you had it was a mandatory 6 months of pain, like and I'm talking about when I say like when you say 6 months, you're talking about what you're talking about. It seems like no, I'm saying go through the same training, even though you're not gonna be a Marine. But I mean, I don't know how
it's because I don't know how that would work. Because
the same training to be tough.
People are not. Some people are just not.
And even you can know, but you don't have to pass, but you have to do. You know,
yeah, because I seen this video of they were training for, they were young, probably 18, 20 years old, probably about 15, 20 kids. And there's people in I think in the army, and they were saying, they were yelling at them, the drill sergeants or whatever they're called. They were saying like, who wants to crawl in the mud for another, I don't know how many hours or whatever, and everybody stayed quiet. And he's like, you don't have to if you don't want to. But if he said it like basically saying like, if you really about it, go show me you're about it, right? And then if people still stood there, he's like, you don't have to go if you don't want to. But if he said it again, and then two people went and started crawling in the mud, and then another two, right? And then one dude went, and went, and then he turned around and he came back, and the guy's like, oh, you had to change your heart, huh? And he's like, and he said it again, and he's like, that was a trick question. Get your asses over, and then
get the fuck in there.
And they all went over there, but you could tell they didn't want to do it anymore.
But you could see it. I think the first people who stepped up are the true ones, because a lot of people act off of what other people are doing. Because if so many people are going, you're like, well, everybody's going. Fuck, I have to go, or else I'm a bitch. but it's the first people like who step up. That's why I think, like, I wonder how it's decided on, like, when Marines clear places and shit like that, who goes up front. I don't know if it's, because I'm ignorant to that shit. I don't know if it's by rank. I don't know if it's by who a certain
experience
that they have or whatever. Or is it just like whoever wants to take the lead? Because sometimes I've seen videos where they're like, I'll go first. So, because being first, that's a fuck ton of bravery. You're the most likely one who's gonna get hit
first, yeah, because you're in front.
Because you're up front, yeah.
Any booby traps,
and then the dude behind you has somewhat of a cover, right? Because you're in front, at least from your hit, because you're in front of him. So at least from that direction.
That's just scary. That's why I think that's the people who go in and clear buildings. That shit is hella scary.
That shit raw. Yeah.
And it's up close.
And then I've seen videos where people were like, well, the bravery first that they have, because they have the clear spot, and then they're on a rooftop, the Marines were, and they had to go down, and there was insurgents in there. So they were like, we had to get them. Like, we had to get off this fucking roof, they were saying. You had to get off. So they were like, come on, I'll go first. The dude was saying, like, I'll go first. And the other dude was like thinking about it. And this dude turned to him. He said, you're a fucking Marine. He said, get the fuck behind me and let's go. Whatever. And that, I'm like, what a badass, huh? Because that shit just, the word Marine, huh? That shit has weight. That shit has, when I hear, I automatic respect. When I hear a Marine, automatic respect. Because you went through some shit. Even just the training, huh? You went through some shit. Automatic respect for all the Marines and all the people who go through all this shit, who see combat and all this crazy shit. So when I hear that, when you have somebody like, you tell you that, huh? It's like, damn, huh? Like, you're right, motherfucker. I am a Marine. Like, what am I acting like a bitch, huh? I'm a Marine too. But it's just crazy because as a Marine, you can't think like that. Because the person in front of you, the person behind you, like they say, to the left, to the right, you're putting their life on the line. That's why, to me, I couldn't do it. Even if I was scared, I'm going in. Like, it is what it is. I'm going in. And I'm going in there to the best of my ability, trying to apply my training and what I know. Because I don't want to be like, I don't want to make a mistake and get one of my buddies killed like that. And even though, like, it's war, people are going to die, I don't want to have that on my conscience. If I was a Marine, I wouldn't want to have that. I would be like, damn, all because I wasn't fully there like I was supposed to be. And it's just like, I rely on them to do that for me. So I owe them to do that for them.
Yeah, because you can't be half in, half out.
Yeah.
Because when you're only thinking about your safety, when you're putting your safety above anything else, I think you're not really live. You're not live. And when you hesitate and it costs somebody their life because you didn't pull the trigger fast enough,
or you made a mistake.
I think if you go in,
but even though I understand, because it's so, like, that shit's so hard, you know, and somebody could say like, yeah, easy for you to say because you never fucking been there. But it's like, I understand. I'm not trying to point the view of like, yeah, I would have done this or whatever. No, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying, like, just from my understanding of like, you guys rely so much on each other, so it's almost the feeling of like, I can't let him down. And because he has the same mentality, that's why you guys end up surviving, because you guys are both on the same page of like, I got to take care of him. He got to take care of me. And it's so commendable when I see the Marines, like, I got to go get him when somebody's wounded or somebody gets left behind and they're outnumbered and shit like that. And they're like, I got to go get him. We got to go get him. Like that mentality, that brotherhood, it's just like, damn, because normally when you see that, it's like just on real brother shit, right? Just like, oh, like the same thing. Like if your real brother gets left behind somewhere, you're gonna be like, I gotta go get him, no matter the odds. So when you can have that same attitude and respect and love for a stranger, you just because, or even though you know him a little bit, but you don't know him the same still, but you're like, I gotta go get him, and you're putting your life on the line. That's hella commendable, respected, like all respect, all props, because that's real gangster man shit. Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.